Getting about those, thanks again for tuning in to yet another video. Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast yet again, San Jose, California. So let's go ahead and start this installation of the Hayden M6 tensioner. Now there is a few reasons why you want to switch out your auto tensioner, your OEM tensioner for this M6. So we'll talk about that in a separate video. So of course you got to drain your primary fluid or your oil. So this is where we start. We remove the plug off of your primary, and then we start removing your foot controls and your shifter. So this is another install video off of the Crankworx Man-O-War motor sprocket. So if you want to check out that video, you can check it out in the playlist. And let's get on with this install. Of course, you're going to have 4 longer bolts on the front of this primary. I'll have an image on the actual primary and later on in the video. So look at the OEM tensioner. I went ahead and used some zip ties just to make it a little bit easier. That way when we're pulling this out, it doesn't shoot out because it is under load. All right, so this is, like I said, this is an auto tensioner, so it's always getting tighter and tighter as it goes, and that might be a little bit too much on the clutch and on the comp. So this is the reason why you probably want to switch it out. So let's go ahead and tune into the actual live feed installation. Good about this. Thanks again for tuning into yet another video. We are installing the Hayden Smith, or the Hayden M6, made in the United States. We're going to be using this instead of the Harley OEM adjuster, tensioner, auto tensioner, whatever you want to call it. So we got to make sure there's 3/8 space between the shoe from here to here on the resting. So let's go ahead and install this real quick, and let's see if we have the proper spacing. All right, so we got to make sure these springs are in this order right here. So the smaller one, small spring goes in here, like this, and then that's it. Alright, so we are at, appears to be a 1/4 inch right there. So that means we are going to have to add a shim in there. So we're going to have to take it out and then put it back in. It needs to be at this mark right here in case you guys don't know. So, am I correct? Alright, so we're adding the shim. We have 2 shims here, right? This one's a little bit thicker. I think this is going to be too thick. So we're going to use the smaller one because we just need a little bit more. We're at a 1/4 inch. If we add this shim, we should be at 3/8. So I really don't know if we can put it in this way or the back. It doesn't say, so just go ahead and put it in there, I guess. Alright, so we went ahead and installed the thicker shim. Man, this is, putting these shims in it's just way too difficult. I don't know, something's got to be off here because I had to hit it with a hammer just to kind of fully sit it down. So let's go ahead and grab the shoe, I guess that's what they call it. Make sure you have the springs where they're supposed to go, tiny one on the inside, and then we just kind of put that together, and then we'll see if we have the right measurement. So it's going to be tighter than the other one. Go ahead. Alright, so I went ahead, added some Loctite. It is hot today. We're talking about triple digits, and I am out in the sun I don't have a garage. So let's go ahead and grab our measuring. We're looking for, once again, 3/8. So I'm guessing we're gonna measure the bottom of the tensioner and the top of the shoe. So that should be 3/8. And we are at, oh man, we're really close to 3/8. Let's see. It could be because of the shim's not. The bottom, is it this bottom? Because if it's this bottom right here, we're at right at 3/8. Right there. Let me go grab the instructions and make sure we are like we're a hair away from 3/8. So this is a 1/4 inch. This is 3/8 right here. So you can see we should be right here. We're really close. I think I'm gonna send it right there, because once we measure the actual tensioner, I mean the chain, the tension on the chain, we are, you know, within a 1/2 inch. So right there we're at 1 inch right there, 15. We're not even at 1 inch. We are no, there we go. Yeah, we're just about 1 inch. So this is pretty tight. We're at 15 right there. That's a 1/4 inch. That's actually 3/8 right there. So we're actually within 1/2 inch. That might be too tight. Not too sure, but I mean per instructions, they want 3/8 down here. They want 3/8 down here. I believe without the shim, we were at 1/2 inch up here. Now we're at 3/8 up here. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments what's going on. Should I switch over to the smaller shim? Alright, so we went ahead, removed it again. Just because, you know, looking at what Man O' War wants, they want 1/2 inch play, and there was about 3/8, so it was pretty tight. I went ahead and I switched over to the smaller shim. So it's going to be a little bit in between. Per the M6 instructions, you got to have a measurement of 3/8 from here to the bottom of the shoe. So I figured, you know what, I'll do a happy medium, and, you know, give a little in down here with the shim, the smaller shim, and then we'll have the tension a little bit closer to 1/2 inch, so that way it's not running too tight, and we're not you know, wearing down these parts too fast. I'm getting a cramp over here. It's hot. So we're gonna go ahead. Once again, you got to make sure you put the smaller spring on the inside of the bigger spring. Make sure it's seated like so. You know, just put that in there and then install it again. So we're happy. Alright, so we went ahead and set the torque wrench to 24 foot-pounds. Alright, we're pretty much done. Now we got to put the primary cover on and get the new gasket, and we're done. So I measured it once again. We're about 1/2 inch on the tension. So down here we're not at the 3/8 that Hayden wants. We're close, but like I said, if we go 3/8 down here, this is going to be 3/8 on the tension of this chain. So we have about 1/2 inch right there. You know, a little bit less, but yeah, we're about 1/2 inch on tension. So let's go ahead and wrap her up. All right, so we went ahead, cleaned up the edge of the primary case. We also cleaned up the inner primary. Now we're just gonna go ahead and mount our gasket here, and yeah, we're just gonna put it like so, and then we're going to use these just to kind of hold it in place. So I'm going to guide these in here. Remember, the first 4 on the left side are these longer bolts. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab this like this, hold it in place, and then just mount it onto the primary, and then I'll install the rest of the bolts. So that's how I'm gonna you know, hold this in place. Alright, so we're at the finish line now, using Teflon tape and a new O-ring. You guys can see that. So Teflon tape, new O-ring. Remember to put this in before you put in your primary fluid, because you're gonna make a mess. You're gonna make a mess. So that's the new stuff. I forgot to put this in and I made a mess. Alright, so let's go ahead and now plug this properly. Alright, so I already filled it with the primary fluid. Since we made this mistake, I really don't know how much is in here. So you're supposed to have, some people say 45, Doc Harley said it's 30 something, but I checked my own owner's manual, or the service manual, and it has a different number. Doc Harley, like I said, he said 34 if it's dry, and somebody on the internet said 45 if it's dry, but it's only 45 for the twin cams. So for my Milwaukee 8, I don't, you know, I'm not really too sure. So, and regardless, I don't even know how much is actually in it. All right, so let's look at my sheet right here. So we have a different amount. Dry feel right there. Dry feel 40 ounces. So it's not 45 and it's not 34. I don't know. You guys can decide. So it's 36 wet. That means if you didn't remove the primary cover, and it's 40 if you removed it, so it's dry. So I'm just going off of this image right here. So the level is supposed to be right at the bottom off the kickstand. So if you fill it up too much, then it's going to cause some shifting issues. If you don't fill it up too, you know, not enough, then it's going to have some dry issues with the crank, with the comp and the clutch. So we'll ride around like this for a few miles. I'll probably drain it, and then I'll fill the I'll do the wet fill. So I'll ride it for a couple hundred miles and remove, and then we'll do a wet fill, and then I'll just add 36 ounces. So these containers from Harley, I got 2 of them. You can see it's 32 ounces. So if you're doing a wet fill, then you'll need 2 of these primary lubricant or lube or primary oil. You'll need 2 of these because you need 36 for a wet. All right, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and finish buttoning this stuff up. I'm gonna add the foot peg and the shifter, and we're pretty much done. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, stay out there, stay safe. Later. Stay tuned for more videos on the crankcase, the Man of War compensator. Thanks. Later.